Hey guys, this is Yoda. In this video we'll talk about how to fight Orator Krix'vizk in the City of Threads. First boss as a Prot Paladin. So we'll go over a video of me fighting it, and also we'll talk about the setup first. So we have about, I think 30% haste in town, which is like just up to the first DR, about 19,800. If you have less haste, then your Ardent Defender will not be up as often, same with your bubble. So you may have to do a bit of an adjusted rotation, or you might need an external. You'll notice in this video we are playing with the Resto Shaman, so I have no externals from the healer to work with. I only have like AMZ maybe and Rescue to ask for. Also, we are playing a setup with Eye of Tear just for this boss. You will also note that my block, right now we have just Bulwark up and it's 63%, so once I use Word of Glory that's going to go up to 93 from Faith in the Lights. We are playing a 100% spell block build. That's going to be important for the ones where we only have Eye of Tear, or if you have nothing. If you're fighting this boss, I would say like 12 or below, just having 100% spell block is probably just enough already. Depending on your eye level, you can probably fight the boss with no cooldowns. But for higher keys, you will need to do a cooldown rotation, or if you don't have 100% spell block. We start the fight. First one is always Ardent. We want to be using Ardent as many times as possible. For this fight, it's our lowest cooldown, and it also is guaranteed to work on every tank buster, no matter what, because of the cheat death effect. So we Ardent first, next we'll use our second shortest cooldown, which is Eye of Tear. Note that with Eye of Tear, we are putting up both block buffs, so our 100% spell block with Tear. After that, we move. One thing to note also, the boss does the two tank busters kind of in quick succession. He'll do like tank buster, then he does the AoE, then you move, then tank buster again. Then he like kind of takes a break, so do keep that in mind for your cooldown. So we Tear. After Tear, Ardent's not up, so we Bubble. Bubble is kind of the third shortest cooldown, I guess. You notice we're kind of using a priority system. Shortest cooldown first, then second, then third, and then fill in after that. So Ardent's up for the next one. So we'll Ardent this after the frontal. Probably could have Ardented already. I'd say this is a bit late. He hit me with 5 seconds left on Ardent, so I could have used it like 4 seconds earlier. You know that the Ardent did get consumed, which means we'll use the cheat death effect, which is perfectly fine. Here's AoE, and we're gonna move. Now we don't have Bubble or Ardent or Tear up, so we're going to send Spell Warding. I consider Spell Warding a higher priority to be used rather than Guardian, and that's because Spell Warding cannot be used directly after Bubble, which means if Bubble's on cooldown already, then it's a good time to use Spell Warding instead of Guardian, so you don't run into that later. Both of them are kind of one-time use on this fight, since the fight is not long enough to use two of them. So we Spell Warding this one. Next one I would say is probably going to be Eye of Tear, since it's coming up. Remember, when it's the Eye of Tear one, we will be putting up 100% spell block. Okay, so he does the frontal. Here's a subjugate. We have both block buffs and Eye of Tear, 100% spell block. And then we're going to turn here so we don't run into this beetle. It's hard to see under him. Here, Ardent is not up. I think if I have like way higher haste, I could potentially have Ardent up here. But it's not up. Also, if you remember, the last Ardent I used was consumed with 5 seconds left on the buff. So if I had used that earlier, then Ardent would be up here. I believe I chickened out. Don't try to get Ardent back up, and I just used Guardian. But this was a mistake here. This should have been Ardent already. But we have to use Guardian because of a mistake earlier. If you have low haste, then you'll run into this problem anyways, sometimes. But yeah, we have to use Guardian 1 early there. Next one will be Ardent, and I would assume it's Ardent into Bubble. So it's Ardent. We easily live. Then we're going to Bubble the next one, just following the normal priority. I think the one after Bubble, we're going to have Tear. So, by the way, always remember, after he moves, he does one after. And after this one, there's a pretty long break. This timer is kind of inaccurate. It says 11 seconds, but it's longer than 11. So he does frontal and then debuffs. And then he's going to do frontal again and then tank buster. Thus debuffs. And then frontal again, even though it says tank buster's coming up. And now he's going to do frontal. Or tank buster. So we put up, this is Tear, we put up both block buffs, and then we Tear it. Boom, we blocked. Next we're going to move for the next one. I think I actually have no cooldown. So we're going to put up block debuffs again, and then, or block buffs again, and then use Lay on Hands, I think. Subjugate has 2 parts. One of them is magical, and one of them is physical, so the armor buff from Lay on Hands will be crucial here. I think I also asked for a rescue, if I remember correctly. Okay, it looks like I didn't get... Okay, we did get a rescue. He rescues here. So we have 30% armor, some max health, and 100% block. Boom, we get hit. Turns out I guess I didn't actually need the rescue because I was shielded for 3.9 and I live with 4.9. I think the Lay on Hands kind of saved me there. Also, I could have used Bulwark here for the shield. And then at this point, the boss is going to die. I have Ardent into... Honestly, it's just Ardent for next. It would have been Ardent into like Holy Bulwark. But yeah, so that's the boss. Just to review, you want to use Ardent as your first priority. It's the lowest cooldown and it works on every single buster no matter what. Second priority will be Eye of Tyr, and I have been playing Eye of Tyr for this dungeon just for this boss. Eventually maybe I'll figure out a way to play without it, especially with externals, like we've been playing with a Disc Priest recently. We might start playing with the rest of the Druid. Shaman in particular has no external for you, so it's a little bit more difficult. So yeah, Eye of Tyr when playing with Shaman especially. So your first priority would be Ardent, second would be Eye of Tyr, third is Bubble, and then fourth priority I would say is Spell Warding, and then fifth priority is this. Just basically go down the priority list whenever you're getting hit by a tank buster. And if it's Eye of Tyr or like no cooldown, then make sure you have 100% spell block available. If you don't know how to get that, then basically you need 94 something mastery. There is another video on the channel talking about it. With a shaman it's 94 something, without a shaman it's 10,800. All right, thanks for watching. Peace out.